Thanks for checking out my video. If you want to learn more from me, I have a lot of classes on Udemy. You can find the links to a lot of those in the description. Alright, so this is going to be a little bit of an off-the-cuff rant about Gnostic theory. So, and how it pertains to magic and different things that we want to do. Let me get situated for a second because I got junk in my back pocket. So, if you know anything about Gnostic, like Gnostic Christianity, Gnostic Judaism, at least, Gnosticism is a blanket term for a bunch of different practices and beliefs and stuff, but nowadays that's what we call it. So, you know, the Gnostic theory behind the creation of the universe, if you go with at least one understanding of it, is the idea that the God that the Christians and the Muslims and the Jews worship is a bad one, and that they call it the demiurge, right? So the demiurge creates this physical prison that we are stuck in. And, insert the clip of Agent Smith with, "I hate this place," right? That kind of thing. That's the attitude that they kind of want you to have. The up, work, home, TV, bed, physical world, flesh, body jazz. We're not supposed to like it, because we are spiritual beings that are trapped inside this physical world, this physical prison that the demiurge made for us, right? And our job is to return to the divine, to Sophia, the divine wisdom, divine feminine, and whatnot. So we are trapped by the demiurge, and let's extrapolate on that a little bit. Well, spirituality arguably takes you out of and brings you above, because this is more of an ascending tradition, takes you out of and aims you above this physical prison. So, we all need food, sleep, all that other good stuff to survive. But the idea behind the Gnosticism stuff is that that's not everything, right? That's not everything you should aspire to. It's not everything you should go after. So the people that are like, look at all my fancy cars and look at all my money and look at my fancy house and stuff, they don't want you to do that kind of thing. So you need certain creature comforts and all this other stuff to survive. Yeah. Should you be, bountiful with like your earnings and other things and strive to do really, really good with that? Sure. But I'm sure people where they work and that's like all they focus on, like their job is their life and stuff. There's more to life than that. If chances are, if you're watching this channel and you're interested in magic and spirituality, you would know that too. So, point one, I would caution you against only using magic for physical manifestation-y means. I want a girlfriend. I want a job. I want a better job. I need more money. I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that. You're on the demiurge's hamster wheel of I need, right? Get to a certain comfort level with that kind of stuff, and then strive for a bigger, better, faster, stronger connection with divinity, with spirit, with spirituality, whatever the heck you want to call it. Because, spirituality is like me describing what an apple tastes like. That's my own interpretation of it. That's how I see it. That's how I feel it. That's how I vibe it. It's not going to be the same for you. You might worship the flying spaghetti monster for all I know. You might worship the cat pixie here. She thinks I do. I don't. I just feed her. She's happy because she just had dinner. But the aim of magic being all about like physical manifestation and getting all these different things is more of a new agey kind of stuff that, we can thank people like, Gerald Gardner and the witchcraft renaissance that has happened in, the last century or so with that kind of stuff. Don't argue with me on dates. I'm not trying to be specific, but all of the witchcrafty books that I have, or most of them, are all about, doing spells for manifestation-y kinds of things, getting rid of somebody, bringing someone into your life, manifesting this, manifesting that, banishing this, binding that, all that stuff. Very few of them talk about that connection with spirit. And here's the paradox of that kind of stuff. The more that you align yourself with your spiritual path and where you're going with it and the bigger connection that you have with it, whether it's a psychological model, energetic model, spiritual model, whatever, right? The more that you align yourself with that, the easier it's going to be to flow through life because you're going to have magic as a tool to use for different things. And then you're not going to be striving for things. You're going to gain things. Yeah. But I would argue that as you strive towards more and more connection with spirit, your ability to manifest things in the physical world is going to go and grow along with that. And I mean, as far as mundane magic stuff goes, and if anybody's been watching this channel for a really, really long time, I kind of don't make a lot of videos on that anymore. But let me know if you have any specific ones that you want me to talk about and whatnot. And of course, I can talk about those, but that's not entirely my passion. My girlfriend asked me one time, what's your, what are the best times for you, like magically, spiritually, right? And it wasn't when I'm doing random spells for this, that, or the other thing. It's the bigger, deeper things. That's why I, back in 2012 when I started working with the Simon Necronomicon, I dove into figuring out the entire gatewalking system, which I have a class about, a book about, and I can mentor about that. Because that's growing you and transforming you spiritually, which then will help you in the mundane world, as I was saying before. So we don't want to stay trapped in this demiurgical, if that's the right term for it, prison, because we can recognize that there is a bigger presence, a bigger tool out there that we can use to rise above it and go past it. Mundane people, hammer needs nail. Us is about situation needs magic. And then you might require a hammer and a nail, but I think you're picking up what I'm putting down here, right? So the more that you strive for spiritual mastery, the more that your mundane life will improve. It's what up to opinion or whatever, but I'm the one speaking here, so I'm just going to say it anyway. There's a famous exorcist guy. He also goes around with a lot of relics from the Catholic Church and stuff. Father Carlos Martins. I've talked about him on my channel a couple of times before. The Exorcist Files on Spotify. Wonderful podcast, by the way. Take a look at it. But I'm not being sponsored by them or anything. It's good stuff. He was an atheist that saw these guys that were devout Christians, and he was like, I want the peace that they have. I want the comfort that they have. And when he became spiritual, and he had a spiritual awakening when he was on a retreat doing adoration of the Eucharist that he kind of just fell into, he had that connection with divinity. Now, you can argue about, Yahweh's crap and whatever. I bet you can find any number of people that will tell you that their particular spiritual path that they have found, the really highly evolved ones. I'm not even saying I'm highly evolved. Have I had experiences like that? Sure. But, I'm like the Dalai Lama. I consider myself a simple monk. I'm not I know a lot. I'm not an expert. I know a lot. This is a conversation. So put stuff down in the comments. But the people that have that connection with their spirituality, whether it's Christianity, Islam, Judaism, voodoo, flying spaghetti monster, whatever, I guarantee you they kind of have a happier life than those that don't. My mom once told me when I actually came out of the broom closet, that, everybody has a spiritual hole, and it's a good idea to find something to fill it with. Because when you know that there is something out there that is helping you in a way that no one else can help you, then you're going to feel like you're supported. When you're a kid and you're kind of, I don't know what to do about life, you go to your parents. Well, when you're an adult and you're the only adult in the room, I don't know what to do about life. You can figure it out on your own, sure, but, having that backing of this particular spirit, this god, this goddess, whatever, they have my back and they will help me figure it out. That's a boost of confidence, right? So the more of a spiritual persuasion that you have with life and striving to make that deeper, bigger, better, faster, stronger connection with spirit, which you can do in a myriad of different ways. And let me know if you want me to make a part 2 on this kind of stuff. The more that you do that, I guarantee you, the better your life is going to be. All right. I've been saying this a lot with my videos, I think, lately. Rant over. Let me know what you guys think about this one in the comments. You want to check out any of my Magic for Hire stuff, my classes, and the Patreon opportunities, and my books. I have a really wonderful novel, by the way, A War of Voices. You want to check out any of that stuff? Linktree down below. Until next time, or I'll see you next time. Good hunting.